Grass-fed beef. The ecosystem. Around the world, beef is mainly produced under two systems: feedlots, in which the main feed source are grains and industrial byproducts, and the grazing system, in which grass is the main feed source. History has passed from a time when the only method was the grazing system to one in which, in enclosed feeding, we can see the reason of this tendency in the advances in agriculture, and along with this, the displacement of cattle raising. At the same time that this advance in agriculture makes cattle raising impossible, it also produces the grains and byproducts. Snow is another limiting factor that many countries have for raising cattle on pasture during a good part of the year. As a result, if we consider the 8 largest exporters in the world, it is possible to calculate the amount of beef that will be commercialized for each system in 2004. While Canada, United States, the European Union, Australia, a part of Brazil, and a part of Argentina export beef that is raised on grains for a total of 4.2 million tons, New Zealand and another part of Argentina and Brazil, as well as Uruguay, export beef that is raised on grass for a total of 1.5 tons. Of these countries, only Uruguay and New Zealand are in condition to export to the United States based on their sanitary status. 1 out of every 4 kilograms that is commercialized in the world is produced on grass, and this number is clearly decreasing. A region of South America between 25 and 40 degrees latitude produces the highest quality grass-fed beef due to moderate temperatures and such fertile lands that permit the growth of high-quality pastures. The result is a young animal that is raised outdoors year-round, vegetarian, with a maximum animal welfare and moderate temperatures that usually range between 10 and 25 degrees, and with a total area needed for feeding that is equivalent to 2 soccer fields. In Uruguay's case, we must add the exceptional sanitary conditions that it possesses. It's one of 4 countries in the world declared free of mad cow disease by the IOE. It's free of mad cow because it is impossible for grazing animals to get the disease. Uruguay is also a country in which the use of hormones has been prohibited since 1980, and the use of animal byproducts has been banned since 1990. Grass-fed beef. Since 1985, medical trials have placed special emphasis on 2 fatty acids in particular, omega-6 and omega. Both of them form part of the cellular membrane, and their balance affects our health because both of them have beneficial effects. The beneficial effects of these fatty acids are seen in coronary problems, hypertension, arthritis, immunological disorders, and in the prevention of cancer. The source of these fatty acids is our diets. Therefore, its composition is the key to maintaining a balance. Vegetable leaves are the main source of omega-3, while grains and vegetable oils have high levels of omega-6. Therefore, an animal that is raised on grass will have a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 of 1:1. While the meat of an animal raised on grains will have a ratio of 20:1. When the relation between omega-6 and omega-3 is greater than 4:1, it can be risky for our health. Man's health in the last 50 years has suffered a dramatic change. As a result of the type of beef that is predominantly consumed by American citizens and the elevated consumption of cereals and oil, their bodies inherit very unfavorable ratios between omega-6. It is expected that the body of an average American has a ratio of 25:1, which leads to diverse consequences such as an undesired obesity problem. It's also known that the amount of time that an animal eats grain affects the final ratio. A period of 200 days leads to a ratio between the acids of 20:1. A correct relation between the fatty acids is not the only advantage of grass-fed beef. This meat contains 20% less calories than the beef raised on grain. This is an effective tool in the fight against obesity. It's a source of vitamin E and linoleic acid combined to fight cancer. This is a meat that has no risk of containing E. coli bacteria. Conexión Ganadera's grass-fed beef. Conexión Ganadera is an organization that brings together investors, beef consumers, and beef producers from South America, and also has an industrial partner, Frigorífico Tacuarembó. The livestock that is raised are young, from 24 to 30 months. They are fed with the best pastures in the world and produce a tender, juicy meat with white fat and the typical flavor of grass-fed beef. The production protocol is certified for the final finishing period of 180 days, in which we can see the effects of grass-fed. The feed is composed of fresh pastures, hay, or silage. The silage that is admitted is composed of corn with some percentage of. In some cases, the animals belong to the investors, in others to the beef consumers that wish to keep track of their animals, and in other cases, they belong to the. There are 35,000 animals being raised to date on 200 farms, permitting us to supply certain high-value markets with the best cuts. The difference in the product that Conexión Ganadera offers is the information that comes along with the cut of meat, and which the consumer has access to. At the time of slaughter, the cuts are identified with a sticker that identifies the animal. The consumer can check this information from his home computer, palm, or cell phone from the restaurant or the supermarket. The information will show the exact location of the animal during its finishing period. Information such as age, breed, gender, and weight at slaughter. Feed and sanitary treatments also form part of the information package. You can be in touch with the slaughter plant as well as with the producer. All of the information has a printout version, which allows the consumer to define his profile. Once you experiment with this system, it's hard to eat meat without this information. Your health and your silhouette depend on you.